Imagine getting glimpses of the future, not from, psychics or complex models, but just from your dreams.
Yeah, just emerging while you sleep.
Exactly. And then picture logging those dreams really carefully in a personal diary,
Okay.
a diary that years down the line suddenly causes this huge stir.
Mm.
Fascination, but also, honestly, a lot of fear around the world.
Right. I see where you're going with this.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into the pretty uncanny world of Ryo Tatsuki's manga, The Future I Saw.
Watashi ga mita mirai, yeah. Very unique stuff.
Our mission here is to unpack these, frankly, startling predictions, try to understand the huge public reaction, especially to one prophecy that feels incredibly relevant right now.
And to look critically at that line, right, between real precognition maybe and just a really compelling coincidence.
Absolutely, because when this manga first came out, July 1999, it barely made a ripple.
Right. Nobody really noticed it at first. Very niche.
But that completely changed
Yeah.
dramatically after the 2011 Tōhoku earthquake and tsunami.
Ah, okay. Because of the cover.
Yes. The original 1999 cover had this line, "Great disaster, March 2011.
Wow. Okay, yeah. That would do it.
Exactly. That single match just catapulted it from this, forgotten manga into a proper cult phenomenon, almost overnight.
So that rediscovery after Tōhoku really kickstarted its reputation.
It did. But what's really interesting is that apparently wasn't her first time being eerily accurate.
Oh, really? There were others before that.
Yeah. So beyond the 2011 event, what were some of these other predictions that sort of, built up that cult status early on?
Well, it's quite a list, actually, and some are pretty major events seemingly logged years ahead of time in her dream diary.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, so Freddie Mercury's death, she apparently dreamed about that back in 1976.
76. Wow. He
Yep.
died at 91.
Exactly. Then Princess Diana's death, dreamed in 1992, she died in 97.
5 years notice on that one.
And the Kobe earthquake in 1995, Tatsuki recorded a dream about it on January 2nd, 1995.
Just weeks before it happened, mid-January 95.
Spot on. It's quite startling.
And then, of course, the really big one, the 2011 Tōhoku earthquake.
Right, the one that brought the manga back into the spotlight. That dream was noted down in 1996.
1996, 15 years before it happened on March 11th, 2011. That's uncanny.
It is. And there's even one about an unknown virus peaking in April 2020.
Which, given everything we've all just lived through, that hits differently, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It adds another layer of, well, eeriness.
It's genuinely startling how specific some dates seem to be. Does the manga itself, the source material, give any clue why these specific things? Or is it just presenting the facts?
No, it doesn't really offer a mystical why. That's actually part of its appeal, maybe. It's presented almost like a straightforward record.
Just the dreams.
Just the dreams, raw, unfiltered. And these uncanny matches, they really tap into something deep in us, don't they? Our need to find patterns, find meaning.
Especially with big, scary, unpredictable events.
Exactly. It shows how we're kind of wired to connect dots. Sometimes, even if, scientifically speaking, the connection isn't really proven.
Right. And speaking of things hitting close to home,
Yeah.
if those past predictions weren't enough,
Oh.
the story takes an even more urgent turn. Like, right now,
Yeah.
today is July 4th, 2025.
Okay.
The 2021 full edition of the manga, it actually introduced a new vision, a really chilling one.
Ah, so there's more. What does this one predict? Well, this new vision describes what Tatsuki calls the real disaster, set for July 2025.
July 2025.
And the date was eventually pinned down with this unnerving precision again as tomorrow, July 5th, 2025.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Seriously. What's the predicted event?
An undersea rupture
Mhm.
south of Japan, triggering a massive tsunami. The prediction claims it could be triple the height of the 2011 one.
Triple the height. That's
Huh.
terrifying. No wonder people are reacting.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just some abstract idea anymore. It's created a huge public stir.
We've seen the reports, right? East Asian tourism to Japan dropping almost 50% around Easter this year.
Yeah, and airlines like Greater Bay, Hong Kong Airlines, they actually cut flights to certain Japanese cities because of this date looming.
So there are real-world consequences happening already.
Mm-hmm.
And the media is calling her Japan's new Baba Vanga.
That's the label some have given her, yeah. Referencing the Bulgarian mystic, it shows how much traction this has gained.
It really demonstrates the power of belief, doesn't it? And information, even if it's, speculative.
It absolutely does. It forces you to think about the psychology of fear on a mass scale.
And the practical impacts it can have. Whether the prediction itself turns out to be accurate or not, The belief in it is already shaping things.
Exactly. The impact is tangible. It shows how quickly perception can shift into, real economic and social changes.
It's a really fascinating, if unsettling, example of that ripple effect. Okay, so let's step back from the predictions for a moment. What about the manga itself?
The style, the structure.
Yeah. What makes it so compelling, beyond just the headlines? And, what are the counter-arguments? Because it's clearly not your standard manga.
No, definitely not. The format is really unconventional. It's mostly these rough, kind of urgent-looking sketches.
Drawn right after waking up, apparently.
That's the idea, yeah. Derived from early morning dreams. And there's very little narration. No real mysticism pushed on you. It's just honest, almost like reading a diary.
That authenticity must be key. It feels raw, unfiltered.
It does, and that really heightens the emotional impact, I think, even though it leaves a lot open to interpretation.
And that rawness, that's one of its strengths, wouldn't you say?
I think so. That unpolished art, the diary feel, it creates a very personal, sincere connection.
Which, combined with the timing of the interest post-2011 and now with 2025, it turned it from this obscure thing into a cultural talking point. A must-read, almost.
Definitely a phenomenon. And it has this engaging ambiguity, too. It makes you, the reader, grapple with it. Is this faith? Is it coincidence?
And it pushes you to think about bigger things like fate, preparedness, how we deal with the unknown.
But we absolutely have to talk about the critiques, the caveats.
Of course, what the skeptics say.
Well, a big one is interpretive flexibility. Skeptics argue that many predictions only seem accurate in hindsight.
Like retroactively fitting the dream to the event.
Kind of, yeah. Or framing it selectively. They also point to predictions that didn't happen.
Like the Mount Fuji eruptions she apparently also foresaw.
Exactly. Those haven't occurred. So it suggests a kind of selective validation, focusing only on the hits, ignoring the misses.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the current 2025 prophecy.
Crucially, yes. It's caused undeniable public fear, and experts are very clear this is speculation, it's not scientific prediction.
Important distinction.
And just purely from a manga perspective, the minimalist art, the simple vocabulary, it might not satisfy readers looking for, deep storytelling or complex artwork. It's quite basic in that sense.
So you have these compelling hits on one side, but strong counter-arguments, mispredictions, and expert warnings on the other.
It's a real mix.
How do you think people, reconcile that? The undeniable impact it's having on behavior versus the warnings that it's speculative. It feels like walking a tightrope.
It really does. And maybe that's the point it raises for all of us, right? As you navigate information daily, how do you balance something compelling and uncanny like this with the need for critical thinking?
Especially when real-world impacts and public perception are so clearly involved.
Yeah, it highlights how we're always negotiating with uncertainty, doesn't it? This manga kind of forces us to think not just about what we believe, but why, and the consequences belief can have.
So wrapping this up then, the future I saw. It's this really fascinating kind of eerie artifact, isn't it? Blurring lines between dream, reality, prediction.
Its power, arguably, lies in those uncanny matchups with major events, things we all recognize.
But it's not, like you said, a polished thriller or some kind of definitive instruction manual for the future.
No, not at all. It's more like an invitation to reflect on dreams, coincidence, the power of suggestion, public perception.
It's amazing how one person's private diary entries can ripple out like this, causing global fascination or even fear.
It really is quite something.
So, for you listening, whether you end up seeing it as actual prophecy or just incredibly compelling fiction, Tatsuki's work clearly resonates. It sticks with you.
It definitely does.
And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What does diving into this story really tell us about our own deep-seated human need? That desire to find patterns, perhaps, especially in chaos.
And maybe, how does it make us think about our own readiness for the unpredictable, whether we think it's been foreseen in a dream or not?